can be traded. My heart's a bit spaded. I'm not too prideful to up and leave. You've been on complacent. The tides have been changing. Love is just patience and for you.
What's up, Wicked Bags? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'll be going over all the books I read in the month of March. I did not choose a TBR for the month of March. I kind of mood read the whole month, and I feel like it worked out better because I read more books than I have in the past two months. Yeah, I read 12 books this month. We're gonna get into the books I read and my ratings. Let's pull up my notions. So the first book I read was Real by Kennedy Ryan. I've read this for a video also, me finally reading the books I've been putting off. And if you guys been watching me in any of my TBR videos, you know that I will add this book on my TBR, don't read it. Next month add it, don't read it. And it was a continuing cycle of things with this book. So I finally got around to reading it. I read it. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed reading about Canon and what's her name? What was this girl name? Neva. Yeah. Neva Saint. I enjoyed reading about this. Canon is a director. Neva was a performer. For like Broadway, I think that's what you call it, like Broadway performer. And Canon ended up going to one of her Broadway's performance, and he was looking for a girl to play. What was the girl? Dang, her name was on my head. It was like right here. Desi Blue. Desi Blue. He was looking for the lead female actor in his movie that he was filming about this. I guess you would say a black musician who was not getting the fame that she deserved, named Desi Blue. He was looking for a lead to play that, and he ran across Neva, and all was history. I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad I finally read this book because you know how you find books on your TBR, your physical TBR, and you finally read it and you start wondering why you didn't read that book sooner. That's how I feel about that one. Then in the same video, I read By Thread by Lucy Score. Same thing as Real by Kennedy Ryan. I don't think I read this next. I didn't read this next. I don't think so. I probably did, but I don't think so. I read By Thread. I gave it 4 stars. Whenever I read it, I did read it. I gave it 4 stars. It was in the same video as Real, reading books I've been putting off. You've seen it on multiple TBRs. I finally read it. I gave it 4 stars. I love Dominique. I love Ellie. I love how hardworking and determined and loving and charming Ellie was, and how Dominique, although he was like the banter, forget the banter between those two were unmatched. He met her when he came into her job. She was a pizza. What do you call them? I don't know. She worked at a pizza place. She ended up writing, I think FU on his pizza. He ends up getting her fired. His mom ends up hiring her at her fashion magazine and saying that he cannot fire her. It goes on from there. Read this book. I love Dominique. I gave it 4 stars. Amazing, amazing, amazing book. Glad I finally read it. Now, I did read some books that was on my Kindle that I don't have physically, but I feel like we should go through the ones that I have physical copies of and then dive into the ones that I don't have physical copies of. So, the next book I read was Magnolia Park, Long Way Home. Y'all knew I kept telling y'all I was just not feeling BJ and Magnolia Park book. I just felt like they were so childish. I just felt like they just didn't need to be together at all. But reading this book, it gave me insight on their relationship and what happened and what caused them to be so trauma bonded between each other. Although it was like, I guess like right person, wrong time vibes for me. Like they are soulmates, but maybe they're not meant to be together for real. Y'all, I finally got I finally got the insight of why they're so trauma bonded, and I was so sad for them. But I still feel like they just don't need to be together, honestly. Like the way, I don't know. But then again, I don't know, because the way this book ends, I was like, okay, what the that was me. The end of the book. Sigh, relief, what because the way it ended, I just felt like I wanted to dive directly into the next book, Magnolia Into the Dark, but I have to read Daisy Hates along The Great Undoing, because if you're gonna read the series, read the series. It's a good series so far. I love the Daisy Hate series the best, so that's just my opinion. Then I read Wrecked by Lauren Asher. This is Jack and Elena. Elena is a PR rep who goes around fixing the reputation or giving the media a better outlook of Formula One drivers, and that's how she meets Jax, who is a drug addict. Well, you can't say a drug addict because he just popped his Xanax. I think it's Xanax, and drank alcohol a lot, party a lot. He's looked at as like the bad boy of Formula One. He just had a bad reputation. She came in to fix his reputation. He was dealing with a lot. It talks about him and his anxiety, which I understand so much. I am not diagnosed with anxiety, but y'all, I understand his pain. I understand his frustrations. I understood a lot of things about him in this book. I'm not gonna say I related to him, but I kind of understood why he moved the way he did. And I also understood why Elena was so driven and passionate about her career as well. I really enjoyed this book. I think I gave this book a 3.75, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I gave this book a 3.75. I really enjoyed it. Great book. After reading that, although these are not in order by any means, I did a reading thrillers for a week, and I read The Teacher by Freida McFadden. I was buddy reading this with um some girlies on Book Talk, and y'all, I'm so glad I read this book. First of all, I think I'm becoming a thriller girl. The way I sped through these books are ridiculous. Like, I read these books, I think I can say 24 hours. The next, like, y'all, I read these books so fast. So this one is about this girl who goes to this high school, and she was accused of sleeping with one of the teachers. He ends up getting fired, and then it goes into where her, I think her name is Addie. No, Addie is the girl that got accused from sleeping with the teacher. Eve and her husband. What is her husband name? Because you really need to question some of these men. Question them, because yeah, I can't think of his name. What was his name? No, that's, hold on, yeah, I'm gonna find his name. I think it was it at no Eve and girl, whatever her trifling husband name was. The way this book ends and the plot twist and the turns and the ending of this book, it had Nate. His name was Nate. Her husband Nate. Eve and Nate was married. They both was teacher at this high school that Eddie went to. Eddie was in both of their classes. Eddie was accused of sleeping with a teacher beforehand, but she was so adamant that it didn't happen. The teacher said it didn't happen, and all of that. But I end up giving this book a 4.75, y'all. If you haven't read any Freida McFadden book, read The Housemaid, The Housemaid's Secret, The Teacher. I'm obsessed with her writing. I ate this book up. I enjoyed this book. Now, although the topic of the book was kind of questionable, but she executed the book nonetheless. So I gave it a 4.75. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I read that. So yeah. Then I read Daisy Darker. I had to end up going to take my son to the hospital, and I sat there and I think I read 50% of that book in the hospital. And it's about this girl who named Daisy Darker, whose family has this island. Her grandma lives on this little tiny island that after a certain period of time, the tide come in and you can't leave for the next 8 hours until the tide recede, and then you can leave. And as they're on this island in this house, people are dying every hour on the hour, and they're trying to figure out who's killing the people off. The way this book, y'all, the way this book ended, I was like, huh? I was so confused because I could have sworn, I don't want to ruin it, but I just knew in my brain cell that don't want to, y'all, please read it. Like, I did not like rock. Well, I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. I was not the biggest fan of Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Finney, but this one right here, it took the cake. I want to read some more books by her. I think I gave this book a 4-star because the way. No, I gave it a 3, a 3.75. Yeah, I gave it a 3.75. I really enjoyed it. Great book, great writing. Like I said, I may be in my thriller girl era. Then I read The Locked Door by Freida McFadden while we was in Florida. I finished this book 2 days in, and that was the only book I read, so I went ahead and ended the video like that. Off on this book right here. I gave this book a 3-star. It's about this girl Nora whose dad was a serial killer who only killed girls with dark hair, blue eyes, and at some point I was confused as whether her mom knew or not that she was married to a creep. But I want to say I don't think she knew, but I don't know for sure if she knew or not. But when Nora was leaving, she was so intrigued into seeing why her dad kept the basement door locked, and then one night he let her down and she found out. That's how the story goes. And then now it's a couple years later and someone is copying his victims, like copying his MO. I think that's how you say MO. They're copying his MO, and now they're trying to figure out who is killing these females. When y'all find out who it is, you're gonna gag. But it was a great book. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3 stars, and yeah. After reading that, I think I went ahead and read. No, these are the ones I read on my Kindle. I read The Blood Trader by, what's her name? Is it Lynette? Yeah, Lynette Noni. She wrote The Prison Healer and The Gilded Cage. I read the 3rd book, The Blood Trader by her. I didn't film that book video of me reading that book. I just read it. I really enjoyed it. It was a great book. I'll put the picture up here for you guys to see it. It's the last book of The Blood Trader, the Prison Healer series. I don't want to go too much into it because I want to spoil it because, like I said, 3rd book. Then I read Holding by Alexandra House. I gave that book a 3 stars. I honestly can't remember what that book about. Can't remember what it's about, so I'm not even going to try to make up something for y'all because I don't know. And then I read Crazy Stupid Bromance. Y'all, I am so obsessed with this series. I'm so obsessed with Crazy Stupid Bromance because, one, I read the Bromance Book Club. I think is this the 3rd one? I don't know. I don't know what the 3rd. I think it's the 3rd one. I'm not sure yet. Let me look. I'm gonna look. I think it's the Bromance Book Club. Hold on. Let me not lie. Yeah, The Crazy Stupid Bromance was the book 3. Book 2 is the other Undercover Bromance. This one is about. Is this about the Yeah, this is about the girl who owns the Tobin Cafe, Alexis, and Noah, who is a hacker. He's a computer security expert. This one I gave a 4.75. Y'all, I love the Bromance series. If you haven't read the Bromance series, please do. I am currently reading the 4th book as we speak, which is Vlad, and it's called It Isn't Bromantic. Y'all, I'm obsessed with this series. If you haven't read this series, please read it because the way this series has me giggling and kicking my feet. Like, I truly, truly, truly enjoy reading every book in this series. Like, no book disappointed me. And that's just that on that. I gave The Crazy Stupid Romance a 4.5. Oh, no. Did I get a 4.5 or did I get a 4.25? I think I'm going to leave with a 4.25. I gave it a 4.25. I really enjoyed that book so much. So much. After reading that, I read Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop Rome. I gave this book a 4-star. And all I want to say is Rome. Rome, Rome, Rome. That man is nasty. But he stood up for her for on so many occasions when she advocated for her when she wasn't advocating for herself. Rome, y'all, Rome. If you haven't read this book, read it, please. I'm obsessed with Rome. Rome. After reading that, oh, let me hold you, the McClane brother series. When I said Rome was nasty, baby, no. No. He has nothing on these McClane brothers. Y'all, Leland is a basketball player. He ends up moving to, I think, St. Louis. I believe it's St. Louis. I don't remember. He ends up moving to St. Louis where he ends up volunteering for this rec center for a summer break to help younger guys, young little boys, play basketball, train for basketball camp, like a basketball camp thing for him. He ends up meeting the lady. I don't forgot her name. I remember Leland because he's nasty. And they end up dating or whatever. He ends up having this rival with her son. Y'all, Leland, Everett, his brother, yo. If you haven't read about the McClane brothers, you're really missing out because one thing for sure, them boys are nasty. They nasty. They nasty. But those are all the books that I read in the month of March. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video.
I'm calling bullshit. Say you got it, but you ain't got nothing. Bad bitches don't say shit, they just hug.